Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Harlem Shuba, and I serve as the affiliated community minister here. My preferred pronouns are she, her. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Lancaster. Ours is a place of open and welcoming fellowship, where we all are called to reflect on how we can best model resilience. Being resilient is more than showing up. It is thriving. May you find wisdom within this community. May we all trust enough to gather what we need to thrive here. Before we step into the rest of our service, please take a moment to gather your tissues. I've been told you may need them, as well as a pencil and paper. I'll give you a couple minutes to gather your things. As we stand in the liminal space between what has been and the possibility of what can be, may this flame serve to remind us of what is ours to carry, and more importantly, what to release when we are able to name what no longer serves us. Ours is a tradition where focus is on connection. May we see clear paths to maintaining connections to ourselves, to the world around us, and to our community.
Parker Palmer shared these words on his Facebook page yesterday. New Year's Eve is a curious fiction, isn't it? As the old year flows unimpeded into the new, the hoopla we make at midnight seems just a tad over the top for one more tick of the clock. But we are meaning-making creatures, even in times of global calamity. Marking this moment gives us a chance to reflect on the past and imagine that we're on the threshold of something new and better. And depending on what we do, some of our imaginings might just come true. That's how humankind has made it this far. We've also made it this far because we exist in a community. And in this community, you would take a moment to put yourself into gallery view. Take a look at the faces of the people who are here with you today. All of those sitting in a circle. And we're going to start a song in just a moment that you might need your tissues for, called Everything Possible. And it invites us to dream about all that we can do and be in this coming year.
We have cleared off the table, the leftovers saved, washed the dishes and put them away. I have told you a story and tucked you in tight at the end of your knockabout day. As the moon sets its sails to carry you to sleep over the midnight sea, I will sing you a song no one sang to me. May it keep you good company. You can be anybody that you want to be. You can go whoever you will. You can travel any country that your wild heart bleeds, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself, you can gather friends around, you can choose one special one, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. Some girls grow up to be strong and bold. Some boys are quiet and kind. Some race on ahead and some follow behind. We all grow in our own space and time. Some women love women, some men love men. Some raise children and some never do. You can dream all the day, never reaching the end of everything possible for you. You can be anybody that you want to be. You can love whoever you will. You can travel any country where your wild heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose a few special ones, and the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. Don't be rattled by names, by taunts, by games. Seek out spirits kind and true. If you give this old world the very best of yourself, it will return the same to you. You can be anybody that you want to be. You can love whoever you will. You can travel any country that your white heart leads, and know I will love you still. You can live by yourself. You can gather friends around. You can choose one special one, but the only measure of your words and your deeds will be the love you leave behind when you're done. Will be the love you leave behind when you're done.
So I haven't been able to get through singing this song once without tearing up. Mostly I think it's in gratitude for the ways my parents paved a new world for me to love and live in, for the ways I know I'm making space for my children to love and live at their best, and for the ways I know they'll surpass me and expand beyond me and make this world better for those who follow behind them. Thank you to the Buckman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church for the invitation to learn and share this song. And thank you, Fred Small, for writing it.
That was why I warned you to bring tissues. I don't know that my words have that much power just yet. So one of the things about Unitarian Universalism is that we have principles. And I was talking to Lenore, who's our Director of Lifespan Faith Development, and we thought that since it's the first Sunday of the new year, we should talk about our first principle, which is the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Now that word inherent can be kind of big and maybe a little confusing. And Lenore told me something that her mom told her. If you write it down, it says in here. So in here, there is worth and dignity. So that pen and paper that I asked you, that I said you might want to get, if you draw a stick figure, and you'll see that I'm not very good at stick figure drawing, so you don't have to worry about it. But so if you think about in here, so let's think about what might be in here in your head. That's something that has worth and dignity, something that you're proud of. And maybe you could write that down or draw a picture. And we call it a time for ages sometimes. And I think sometimes people assume that means that we're doing it just for kids, but I think sometimes grown-ups forget, like we grown-ups all forget, that sometimes drawing can help us remember too, things that we knew a long time ago, forgot. So then maybe right in here where your heart is, maybe there's something in your heart that has worth and dignity that's in here that you're proud of. And then the other place that I think is my hands. Wonder what's in your hands that's something that's worthwhile for you, or that you're proud of, or that you can do. So remember, we all have inherent, which means just inside us, just because we're here, We're valuable, important people, just the way we are.
We bring our hearts into this sacred space of community, and we open them up to each other, so that those of us who carry pain might be comforted by the presence of a loving community, so that those of us who are happy and well might share our joy and see it multiply in others, and so that those of us who carry complex truths might find a welcoming space to process and make meaning of all that life brings. You can see Heather's holding our communal well. This is where we place our stories that we hold for each other, that we hold together. So if you have a story that you would like to cast into our well of community, now's the time for you to share. And we invite you to do that by typing your joy, sorrow, or complex truth in 15 words or less into the chat. And we will only mention your name if you mention it for us. And as we read your story, Heather will drop a stone into our community well, where your story will be held and witnessed. And one more stone for all the joys and sorrows and complex truths that remain in the silent sanctuaries of our heart. The ones that words cannot express, and the ones that are still in formation. We see you, we love you, and we are here for you.
If you would join me in the spirit of meditation and prayer. All that we have been separately and all that we will become together is stretched out before us and behind us like stars scattered across a canvas of sky. We stand at the precipice, arms locked together like tandem skydivers, working up the courage to jump. Tell me, friends, what have we got to lose? Our fear of failure? Our mistrust of our own talents? What have we got to lose? A poverty of the spirit? The lie that we are alone? What wonders await us in the space between the first leap and the moment our feet, our wheels, however we move our bodies across this precious earth, touch down softly on an unknown soil? What have we got to lose that we can't replace with some previously unimaginable joy? Blessed are you, Spirit of life, who has sustained us, enlivened us, and enabled us to reach this moment. Give us courage in our leaping and gratitude in our landing, and share with us in the joy of a long and fruitful year together. One of my favorite New Year's practices, singing to the ocean. And I wasn't able to do that this year, but last year, one day I did that, and I'm sharing that with you today. Forgot that there was a sailboat on the ocean that day. Happy New Year, or should I say Happy Gregorian New Year. January as the beginning of the new year is only as old as 45 BCE, when Julius Caesar decreed the use of the Julian calendar, which was then replaced by the more accurate Gregorian calendar in 1582. Because yes, I love these details. They get me excited for some reason. Then again, the Chinese New Year is on February 1st this year, and today's the 29th of Tevet of the year 5782, and the Jewish New Year was in September. I wonder how many different calendars there were before the British Empire decided to colonize the world. And the funny thing is, I'd already written that and printed it, and Facebook popped up with an entire page of all the different days that the year starts on around the world. Who knew? That, of course, led me down the internet rabbit hole of how people celebrate the new year around the world. So in Japan and Puerto Rico, they both start with cleaning the entire house. In China, you paint your front door red. And South Africa, now I've read this in 2 places, but you allegedly throw your old furniture and appliances from the windows of tall buildings. And in Denmark, I think this might be my favorite. In Denmark, you save your old dishes, and then you go to your friends' front doors and you throw your dishes at them so that they break. And then I guess at the end of the day, whoever has the biggest pile of broken dishes by their front door has the most friends and wins. Who knew? In Turkey, red underwear are said to be lucky, and in Brazil, you choose your fortune for the new year based on the color of underwear and luck you want that year. So in Colombia and Mexico, you carry an empty suitcase around the block so that you can bring in a year of travel. And in Belgium and Romania, farmers are said to rise early to wish cows and other domesticated animals a happy new year. There are scarecrow pyres in Panama and Ecuador, cemetery sleepovers in Chile, and wave jumping in Brazil. And apparently wearing white brings you extra luck. So Netherlands, you eat deep fried dough balls to ward off evil spirits at midnight. And black-eyed peas are a Southern lucky charm. And if you've spent any time at all in Lancaster County, it's impossible to forget that pork and sauerkraut is necessary for a lucky new year. The New Year's kiss is a throwback to ancient Romans and Saturnalia, who've given us all those other wonderful pagan traditions. And some warn that the first person you encounter in the new year sets the tone for the entire year. That sounds a little frightening to me. I don't know about the rest of you. And then we have ancient China to thank for the noisy fireworks. They're supposed to scare away evil spirits and enemies. And I'm sure there are people out there who still love them, but I'm not one of them. To me, they're an everyday nuisance without regard for the fears of animals, children, and veterans with PTSD. Did you know that there are veterans who check themselves into the hospital in anticipation of the overwhelming noise of fireworks through many holidays? But I digress. Coming back, promise. The one constant throughout all of these, some of which sound extremely ridiculous, is that this changing of the year is extremely important, and it's so much pressure for one day of the year. I have to confess that New Year's has only recently become a holiday I enjoy. Growing up in Lancaster, New Year's was all about the pork and sauerkraut, and the only food I hate more than sauerkraut is lima beans. So New Year's entertainment was all about Heather and the sauerkraut. And much as Mom tried, I was never going to become a neat and tidy person. So the sauerkraut dance was followed by the annual cleaning of Heather's room. It wasn't until after Andrew was born that we created our own New Year's ritual, and my attitude toward the first day of January changed. Andrew was about 7 months old when we were moved from Governor's Island, New York, to Cape Cod, Massachusetts. We decided to drive to Provincetown, and I decided to walk across the sand and put my feet in the water. And as cold as the water was, The sand was colder. One year, we went camping with a group on the Chesapeake Bay, and a group of us decided to begin the new year with a polar bear swim. We wore wool socks, carefully broke through the slivers of ice as we walked into the water and plunged far enough to get the shoulders but not your head wet. And I have to say, I was quite astonished that both Andrew and Benjamin, both in their early years, decided to join me and see how cold the water really was. Doug was the one, some would say wise, who waited on shore with blankets and scotch. Sitting on the beach, preferably around a fire, is my favorite way to celebrate the new year. Although walking a labyrinth can be a nice alternative if the beach isn't an option. I spend a lot of time thinking. In fact, I'm quite skilled at overthinking things to absurd degrees. Spent a lot of angst over the years thinking about New Year's resolutions, how best to word them. I want to be strong, light, and healthy, rather than I want to lose weight and exercise more. Working as a lifeguard again in my 40s, opening the pool at 5 a.m., and the early morning swimmers was particularly enlightening. My regular early morning swimmers would bemoan the entire month of January, looking forward to February when everyone had admitted failure and dropped their resolutions. I hadn't realized how much the entire fitness industry counted on people failing their New Year's resolutions. And that led me to thinking about, why don't we make resolutions in February? I know. But it still didn't lead me that last step, that you only resolve to make a change because you feel that something is fundamentally wrong with you. It took me a few more years and a few more permutations of precision wording before I started to get it. Tiny Buddha image summarized a lot of my thoughts. Ditch the resolutions. To resolve means to find a solution to a problem. You are not a problem. Let me say that again. You are not a problem. That's what led me to Fred Small's Everything Possible, sung by Leah. Possibility. This new year is about possibility. It's about what's important to you. It's about setting intentions about ephemeral things, the things that don't show up on a scale and can't be documented with a measuring tape. It's not about taking stock and balancing the books. You are not a problem. Our culture is the problem. There were a few suggestions for the new year that have potential. Learn a skill that has no practical application. I still haven't figured out what that might be. Morse code, maybe. Have an experience that stretches you. And plan 48 hours without Wi-Fi. I think I might be okay with those three. More than anything, though, I want to remember the good things that happened last year, and I want to forgive myself for not being the best version of myself. And I want to share with you these words from a dear friend, Beth Weaver Kreider. May you be born fresh and shining into the new year, and may the old you continue too, a thread that ties you to past versions of your truest self. For we need to be constantly reborn while we hold a deep sense of the shape we create in the universe. And our next song, How Could Anyone Ever Tell You? I want you to listen to it with those ears of that little child who didn't know that there was anything wrong with them before anybody told you that you needed to change something or fix something. Those are the ears we need right now.
that all. How could anyone fail to notice that your loving is a miracle? How deeply you're connected to my soul. How deeply you're connected to my soul.
And an offering written by my colleague, Kayla Parker. We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. And we are so grateful for this and commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively to do greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. And may we give in love and in hope. You may text your donation to your offering to 855-927-3685 or give by visiting our website, uuconline.org, or by mailing a check to the church at 538 West Chestnut Street, Lancaster, PA 17603.
Well, my heart starts sinking and I'm thinking, what's the reason why we holding back from being kind? What's the disease? But then I sense we are fine. It'll all happen one small step at a time. When the world is full of violence and it needs a little kindness, I just sit and pray in silence, and God shows me the signs. Open my eyes, realize we are fine. One small act at a time. Last night I'm walking home and the homeless man says hello with a smile to let me know that he's got a lot of hope. He says, have faith, young man, we are fine. The world is kind. One small act at a time. Small acts we do together, even though maybe alone, changes the world for the better so we can call it home. And this is life as we know, when our hearts are aligned, the magic that unfolds one small act at a time. Throw your hearts up, let it fly high, let your love for all the world spread through the skies. Let it drop down, let it all go, spreading kindness to every single living soul. Can you see your love for me shining through? Cause what you see in me, I can see in you. And soon enough, you and me will be out of time, and kindness will be all we can leave behind. Yeah, feeling grateful today. Never thought this day would come where I would feel it and say that each and every one of us has paved the way doing good, and now we're all just moving up. When I'm kind to you, you pay it forward. This is how we build trust. Never had faith, but now I'm seeing you eye to eye. Wanna gift you my life, wanna spread love before I die. Thank you, God, for finally letting me realize when I serve man, I'm really serving you in disguise. Smiles everywhere, cause now everybody's got the bug. Ain't no life without the love. If it is, it ain't no fun. What we gonna do now? Just grab a friend and give a hug. Spread it out real wide so everyone can be touched. Throw your hearts up, let it fly high, let your love for all the world spread through the skies. Let it drop down, let it all go, spreading kindness to every single living soul. Can you see your love for me shining through? Cause what you see in me, I can see in you. And soon enough, you and me will be out of time, and kindness will be all we can leave behind. shining through, 'cause what you see in me, I can see in you. And soon enough, you and me will be out of time, and kindness will be all we can leave behind.
That compilation, those players, I don't know, that's where I need my tissue. I don't know why that always just hits me in all the right places, but what a beautiful reminder in this year as we look forward to be kind to ourselves. Thank you, Heather, and to be kind to each other. See, can't help it. We are human. We are a spectrum of emotions. I am an eternal hope optimist, and so I believe that we have the potential to be kind, and that is the locus of the way that we all, as UU, should move through this world. So. The only announcement I have is from Lenore. Our monthly spiritual exploration for all ages will be an outdoor labyrinth walk and ritual to welcome the new year. And this will be next Sunday, January 8th. Oh my goodness, January 8th at 1 p.m. And please stay tuned for more information. It'll be present in our love letter. So we will now be stepping into breakout rooms. If you feel so moved to hang around, we'll have one for service, reflection, and social hour, and one for joys, sorrows, and complex truths. May you all know what a blessing you are to me. Go now in peace.